You, Dilar, personally, which do you like better right now in the meta? Is it the blue side or is it the red side?
I think right now is the red side because you can use a lot of hero, right? So you need to counter them. Yeah, because in the red side you can read and you can know the first enemy hero pick, and you can counter that.
There we go. And for this one, by the way, we'll have some backup from Renmar right there from the English desk. Renmar, can you hear us?
Hey, Renmar.
Hello, yes?
Oh, there you are.
All right, so it did reach through. All right,
we're
I
trying
heard
to look
something
for
different,
backup
but yeah,
here.
thanks.
Okay.
By the way, that Baksha ban on the ONIIC red side, not surprised. That's actually showing up more all around the world, especially in the roam, and as a jungle option. It's a strong flex pick, so no surprise that ONIIC decided to ban that out, considering that they're going up against Coach Bonchan and Twisted.
Yeah, this is going to be the Kalea first pick too for Twisted Minds. Now, Dilar, you did mention earlier that in the red side, you already get to actually respond or think ahead because you already know the first pick. What do you think are the possibilities that ONIIC Philippines might be showing us here?
I think they will pick maybe Granger and Fredrin, something like that, or maybe they need a flex pick like Badang.
Oh my goodness, did you just tell us that there's a chance of utility jungler for... Okay, never mind. They're still going for the Joy and the Badang. That's a flex pick, and that's what you did mention earlier. So does Twisted Minds here at this point, there's still a Hayabusa. Would they want to consider that, or do you really think that MP the King is just gonna go utility in the series?
I think of course they need Granger on that.
How about you, Renmar?
Oh, I like what the Dilar went on. I believe he mentioned Granger. Some range would be really good for their lineup, unless they're going to go for a very all-in kind of style. If they want a mid laner that isn't so susceptible to being left alone. You mentioned the Hayabusa. It would be great if they could pick their jungler now, specifically an assassin, so that Hajizi is safer in the center.
Yeah. Oh, but they pick up the Kimi instead.
Oh yeah, no, I think that is the mid laner.
Yeah, that
though.
is the mid laner. They won't be revealing their jungler just yet.
Interesting.
My goodness, what is Bonchan cooking this time?
I think Kimi is also a good pick because you can flex Kimi, right? You can play in the mid lane and the gold lane. So ONIIC, they didn't know what's their gold lane or mid lane.
Have you seen the Kimi in the jungle?
But right now, there's a lot of squishy hero and there's a lot of crowd control in this meta, right?
So you still want to put the Kimi on long range?
Yeah.
In mid or?
So he can use Purify. He can use Purify or something like Flicker.
There you go.
Oh, but this is a very aggressive mid laner pickup by Super Friends, and now they get to take away the Hayabusa that we did mention earlier alongside Renmar.
Yeah.
That would be a good first 3 picks from ONIIC Philippines, so they can counter engage on Kalea's engage.
Yeah.
Are you still confident that this might be a Granger pick for your team for ONIIC? Or do you think there's something like a Bruno that could make an appearance
Honestly,
here?
what do you think of, like, there's still a chance of the usual Granger Sicilian 2, right?
Yeah.
But that's only if they're really putting the Kimi in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think they can also do that, but I think Twisted Minds will ban Granger in this scenario.
What about you, Renmar? Any interesting gold lane picks that might appear here for ONIIC?
For the gold lane, I wouldn't be surprised if they just default and play it safe. They could either go Moskov, considering that the Granger's gone now. They need that split presence, something that... Because if you look at the first 3 picks of ONIIC, that team fights strong with any other jungler that you decide, or excuse me, roamer EXP that you decide to pair with it, that you can have a gold laner that just plays off lane, split push, things like that. So they don't go Moskov, they might go something like Claude, but I'm leaning towards the spear-wielding Hadi. Yes, I think I'm the first guy to call Moskov a Hadi. I can no longer take that back, I'm sorry.
Wait, but like, I am actually liking the idea of a Claude too, since you would really need reach. You would really need a way to penetrate and get to that Kimi. But at least the Moskov kind of serves the same purpose, right? Like, the passive is there, so long as you just try to get the right angles, in some ways, you could deal damage towards the backliners of Twisted Minds, and they're yet to reveal who their other potential damage dealer or backliner is going to be.
Anything for you, Dilar, for Twisted?
In this from Twisted Minds, I think it's gonna be an aggressive lineup from Twisted Minds, and they will need to push ONIIC Philippines in the early game. because the ONIIC lineup is very scaling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to wait for Joy Item and Moscow, right? The Swift Trinity, something like that. Yeah.
So you're thinking they want to go very early, very
Oh
aggressive.
my goodness.
And there's the Ling though.
Oh. Do you still think this is all about being early? Because I feel like the Ling needs a couple items before he's actually able to
I
go
think
in.
still can play in early game because they have a Parsa, something like that, and also
Yep.
Phobius. You know, we know that Phobius is really strong in third and
That's so
fight, right?
cool.
Yeah,
Flag.
that's something. That's really something. Renmar, anything to wrap this up with?
I'm hoping okay, the Panda Lover in me is hoping for Nakai, but I think we might just end up with something like a Cho. You need some pick off on the side of ONIIC. They do have a lot of control. They might go tanky and maybe hold off with something like a Tigreal for Brusco, considering that I feel like this Badang is going into the EXP lane. But yeah, they're playing with this flex right now. They can put that in the roam or EXP, pick off crowd control. It's neither of that. They just go for the Hilda instead. So they go for the jungle pressure with the Hilda, giving Kirk that hero.
I see.
And also they need a frontliner, so they need to pick like Hilda
Yeah.
or maybe Hylo, something like that. So, but they pick Hilda.
Yeah, there's someone to at least stop and catch the Ling right now if ever he does decide to play it all aggressive. And the mobility is there too, so they definitely have rounded out this draft pretty well.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much, Renmar. We'll see you in a bit. And now, Dilar, what do you think about lineup? Good chance to win?
Honestly, I like the Twisted Mind lineup.
Oh,
It's kind of balanced, and you can move in the map faster, yeah, something like that.
Fast
So
movement on the map. Get that early game.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Thank you so much, Dilar, for helping us out today.
thank you so
It's a
much.
pleasure, man. And we are going to throw it over to our casters in a few moments. Brigadez looks really good. Let's throw it over to our casters for the game number 1.
Thank you so much, Brigadier Dilar and Rockhart. Now welcome to the casting desk. It's me, Naisu, with Ingon and Renmar, here to bring you the first game, our first match of the MPL Philippines Season 15 playoffs, and we're kicking it off again with ONIIC PH versus Twisted Minds. Gentlemen, how do we feel about the draft? I know Renmar broke it down through it. So Ingon, what do you think here?
For me, I know that MP the King, whenever his back is against the wall and he comes up with the Ling,
Yeah.
some good things can happen for Twisted Mind. And not to mention, one of the most memorable Ling games of MP the King was actually back in MSC 2024 up against ONIIC Esports, where he won despite SYS not having a coach.
Yeah, it was MP the Ling that we got to see, and we might see a version of that. So I like the two lineups are actually playing to each team's strengths and comforts, especially on James with a Phobius. That seems to be one of the most important conditions for Twisted Minds in Season 15. Give him a Phobius where he can bully, hold the front line, make plays on his own, while ONIIC Philippines and Twisted Minds are going to see each other for the Little Wanderer, but no one's going to heavily commit just yet. But ONIIC Philippines wants to disrupt MP the King's pattern.
Yeah, they want to put pressure here already. Oh.
Good combo already forced out the Tempest of Blaze, but MP the King was able to walk away as King Kong already cast the electrifying beats.
All right, good response. Interesting too, because I would say when we were talking about James on the Phobius, he's got to be one of the best players of the season so far in this hero.
Yeah, doesn't have a lot of wins, but most of the wins on the side of Twisted Minds are actually with that hero, but Kirk is going to get spotted out. He'll be able to run away, though. He should be fine. See, we actually just saw the graphic there from ONIIC Philippines. A lot of wins there for key heroes, such as the Jushin, the Joy, and the Hilda for those three, while the Moskov and the Badang doesn't show up too often for ONIIC Philippines. Still positive records, though.
Okay, Turtle for the taking here. They're going to break it down. It's already under half health.
Half health. There's a combo. And now they're trying to go for Escalera, though, but still, King Kong will get the turtle.
But Super Prince doesn't want to end it just yet. He sees Escalera right there. He's going after him. Can he actually take Escalera down? He gets away.
And now James up against 4. There's an Infernal Pursuit, though, but they're trying to go for him as King Kong walks in again. Infernal Pursuit. He might be able to escape, though, but up against 4. He's going to fall down in the hands of Kirk.
He's going to buy some time, but not enough. And now MP does secure his orange buff, so he's able to get out of there, but he's got to work on this.
What?
Brusco was ready.
I thought it was just for information, but scrap that. He wanted to go for the kill already.
Yeah, no, that's info. He said, guys, he's dead.
I got him. I just want to let you know.
Oh man, Brusco, and if you're gonna recall to what Dilar actually mentioned, one of the things that's popping up right now is not a tanky Badang, but a damaged Badang. So with how things are going now, Brusco can actually try that up against Twisted Minds.
Has this been the shift so far with the Badang? Like, are we seeing more of the damage build on him, or is it still like kind of a hybrid in a sense?
Well, I saw some Chop Suey hybrid builds here and there, but I didn't really think so much of it. But now that we're seeing it here in the Philippines, maybe that might be the route that we're going for. Although the previous tanky Badang build that's based on a lot of cooldown reduction already did a fair bit amount of damage, especially once he has his 3 items locked in, especially with the Oracle already in his hands. But if he's going to go on a more damage route, then let's see if it's going to work out well for ONIIC, because it's a trade-off, but I feel like a favorable one, because if you get caught out by the Badang and he just gets a full-on combo with you, it hurts.
Yeah, it could even be one hit. I think the most recent Badang damage build we saw was actually in MPL Indonesia between BTR and Alter Ego. I forgot who used Badang, but it definitely worked for them, won them a game. So now ONIIC still holding on to 1.7k gold lead. They're trying also to make sure James doesn't have enough space.
Yeah, so they're going to work on this. Turtles coming up now. Second one of the game. ONIIC will go ahead and take the round all together up here and set up that full 5-man for the take. They might just force a fight. It looks like that's what they want to do, with Twisted Minds doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be slowly started up for Brusco. And now in position, James has to lead this charge. Oh!
Flicker in, plus the ultimate. They might be able to burst down Brusco. So 1 member down for ONIIC Philippines.
Escalera led the charge to MP. The King takes down King Kong. This looks good for Twisted Minds.
This one, Kirk, trying to soak up the damage. So James is trying to chase after him, but Super Prince was there for the defense. And Twisted Mind, MP the King, secures the turtle.
Twisted Minds played that well, and then they'll go and get a key kill on King Kong, plus the objective. So that'll bring them back into this early game without things slipping too out of hand.
Yeah, very decisive take there by Escalera. Again, one of the more prolific users of the Tidal Strike Flicker combo.
Yeah.
And now he was able to get the right pick. Twisted Minds was able to split that fight perfectly. That MP the King was just able to take down King Kong.
Feather Airstrike already used up onto Super Prince. Ultimate did not connect though. So Super Prince was able to walk away scot-free.
Okay, so back to this point, we have to start to consider, you know, where does the scaling happen for both of these lineups? Are they pretty balanced on both sides? Do they come online around the same time in the game here?
Yeah, for Outplayed, as soon as he gets the Feather of Heaven and even a Concentrated Energy, it could be a turning point for Twisted Mind. But again, Farsa needs to also scale up for the side of Hajizi. So now ONIIC Philippines, actually their 1.8k gold lead almost got diminished. Now we're seeing some sort of equal economy for these two teams.
Twisted Minds was able to balance out the game just at the right time. And that forces ONIIC Philippines to slow down their approach a little bit, play a little bit more for the macro, considering that Twisted Minds have now shown that they have hit a respectable power spike, despite ONIIC leaning a little bit closer to the 1,000 gold lead. They're still getting some good items on the Kimmy, especially with a Sky Piercer already on there. Again, still no kills for him, but that's something that they have to watch out for, ONIIC Philippines.
Okay, so now back to this point. The next turtle's going to be up shortly here. And I expect the same thing, you know, both teams kind of rotating in. Now, Calra didn't land that Spirit of Destruction, even though that was like in the vicinity in the last turtle, but you know, maybe again, it's just go ahead and farm up, get online for both the gold laners right now. But we've seen the Kimmy, man, it pop up even towards the end of the regular season quite a bit, have some success, but more so the weeks that we had off, where like the other regions around the world were playing this Kimmy. And really late game, if you're not able to control the Kimmy or even get close enough to take the Kimmy out, you could be in trouble in some of the later game fights right now. So Outplayed will go ahead and hold it down here. We'll see if they actually go in and contest MP.
MP the King used their Power of Wilderness onto MP the King, so they might not be able to contest unless ONIIC, though. James goes in with Infernal Pursuit, paired up with Hajizi's Feathered Airstrike, so a lot of ultimates plus the Purify of Keller already used up.
Ultimates for the mid laners both gone now. This could go either way, but ONIIC Philippines seems to have a better positioning right now for this turtle, as Twisted Minds are playing for the macro game up top. ONIIC hasn't read the situation fully just yet. No one's going to be full committing for the turtle. Well, Twisted Minds might actually walk away with a tower or a turtle with this one.
Okay, so they're just going to go ahead and focus on that. Little macro pressure. The top turret is going to go down. Outplayed will secure that one. And so now the decision to be made. James will hold up the turtle here. We'll see if they rotate in or just MP starts it up. So ONIIC Philippines might go ahead and look to go ahead and punish this. They take control around the turtle pit. For now, the rest of the team from Twisted Minds will now rotate.
Oh!
Hold on. Hajizi's going to wings by wings out, but Escalera does have the flicker available. They're going to try to cut them off here. Kirk also has to run out there, but Escalera will be spotted out as they face off against this turtle. Calra could also join this fight if he throws in. Once that spear is available, he doesn't have it just yet. So if he just makes his way for the turtle.
Again, a lot of ultimate connecting, but Brusco! What a beautiful setup for King Kong to get that turtle. Kirk running low. MP the King has his eyes on him, but Brusco is the first man down in a double kill for Outplay. This guy has a Sky Piercer.
Yeah, the punish that we were talking about, if you're not careful with this very dive-centric lineup by ONIIC Philippines, then the Kimmy's actually going to have a grand old time. And you mentioned it now, 2 stacks onto the Sky Piercer of Outplayed means ONIIC Philippines really need to time their entries a little bit better. But at the same time, you have to look at what Twisted Minds did there. Yeah. James got to enter at the right time to give space for Twisted Minds so that the backline of ONIIC Philippines won't be able to respond as well as they could have. Now we're seeing the beauty of pairing up the Kimmy and the Farsa together. Wait!
Ooh! But the combo got interrupted by the Dark Wave of James, and the counter punish of Twisted Minds was there. Brusco is down, but King Kong wants to avenge the death. He takes down Outplayed. James jumps in with an Infernal Pursuit. Super Prince King Kong Killer working on the Ultimate Fighter, and they bring him down. A 3-kill swing for ONIIC.
Man, it looks so good. You know, you stop that combo coming out from Brusco, but then you still get punished for Twisted Minds. And ONIIC Philippines gets a lot of value out of that fight. So they're also going to get some turrets now and get in position for the next objective.
Great response by ONIIC Philippines. What we thought was a flub eventually turned out better for them. I mean, considering the Keldra did get to hit the Spear of Destruction, and the slight moment of hesitation, though it looked bad for Brusco, just gave enough decision-making time for Super Friends, King Kong, and Keldra to make the most out of it and walk away with 2 kills.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why we see a Kimmy having a hard time against assassin junglers like the Hayabusa, especially the Joy. Because as soon as King Kong is uninterrupted with the electrifying beats, there's no escape, especially if there's no flicker from that Kimmy.
Yeah, it's really difficult to get away from that. And again, for ONIIC Philippines, they put themselves a little bit further ahead. Nonetheless, I think it'd be great if Twisted Minds can eventually get that turret down. It's about 1 hit away, the mid turret for ONIIC Philippines to open up some of the space to work with. The Lord is up now, though. And ONIIC's already getting in position. Again, they can just park Kelra on the opposite side of the map. Hope that he's able to join with that spear once it's up. But this is the problem, too. You're working against a lot of heroes, if you're Twisted Minds, that just zone out so well. The Jushin here, of course, you got to watch out for Brusco. His flicker's available. Kirk can just take this damage, and they can hold the Lord here. Kelra's still going to push, but here's the fight.
Going in for James. James has to flicker out, and Brusco again! With a fist break, fist crack, going to bring down Hajizi. The next target is James. Brusco is going to fall down, but a clapback from ONIIC is here. MP the King goes in with the Templates of Blades, but cannot find a kill there. 4 members from ONIIC are still here. Well, meanwhile, Kelra on the bottom lane.
Okay, Kelra spitting down bottom while ONIIC Philippines have their eyes set on the Lord. They have to stop Kelra. Twisted Minds are going after him with the Moskov is doing his best. He takes down MP!
Oh, well, yeah. Hey, he did better than I thought. At least he got 1, but that was all part of the plan as ONIIC Philippines gets the Lord.
Kelra! First day of the playoffs already has an amazing play up against 3. Clutch Wind of Nature was able to pin down MP the King, and fortunately for him, MP the King didn't have his Tempest of Blades.
Yeah, you can see Twisted Minds saw that clip of Eman with what he did as a Moskov 1v3. They were watching their space. That's why Keller had to decide, I can only get 1 here, and he got the best target he could.
Now Kirk trying to soak up the damage. King Kong on the other hand goes in.
No way.
For the flank once again, electrifying beats. Not going to get SOD connects though. As Kelmer jumps in, they were able to take down Escalera. 1 member down for Twisted Minds.
I mean, that could have been way worse for Twisted Minds. But they still have to deal with this Lord pushing in. They're down Escalera. The turrets are going to get crashed into. Bottom 1 of the base is already gone. I'm not sure if ONIIC Philippines wants to get in a position to end the game here. They might get another turret. Mid's going to be worked on. We'll see what Twisted Minds can do. They try to hold on, try to clear these lanes out. But another turret will fall now in the mid lane.
Yeah. They're utilizing the time that Escalera is still not in the picture, and at the same time, James doesn't have his flicker. So there's no setup here for Twisted Mind, and Keller just cleaning up the map 3 inhibitor turrets taken down. That's just the first Lord.
Yeah, I have a bit of an unsung hero here for the game so far. It's Brusco. Yeah, he's 2-4-3. We did get to see that one big combo that was clearly the turnaround moment, favoring for ONIIC Philippines. That led to them getting the Lord and getting all the towers. But it's how he's just showing up himself in the front line in the siege moments. Yeah. When they were taking down the towers, he was like, all right, go ahead. Throw everything you got on me. Bring me down low. I don't care, because I'm just trying to see if I can force a reaction out of you, because with Twisted Minds wanting to damage Brusco, that's an equal threat. Brusco can at any time go in with a fist break, flicker into the fist crack that Twisted Minds has to watch out for. So he's just doing roam things, but very bravely so.
Yeah, and apart from that, the secondary roamer Kirk also he literally learned from what Escalera did during the second turtle, the flicker in ultimate that caught ONIIC off guard. That's why this time, every brush that he sees, he's going to step on it, make sure that there's no initiation angle there for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, the hard part about it is even when you're looking at these items for both the teams here, like you guys mentioned, Brusco, he's kind of just a distraction, does just pick up a Radiant Armor, so he's able to deal with some of that magic damage a little bit more, because his job is that, like, let me surprise them with my flicker, combinations that are going to come through with that Bedang, and then also, like, Kirk, he's a menace too. Like if Brusco already did the main job, Kirk can also go in and clean up alongside King Kong, and Kelra is free to do what he wants and even play around Super Prince. And that's why this composition seems to be working out so well. Both sides, though, you could say, you could really look at it and be like, all right, both sides, both compositions have a great coverage from all the way from the early game until now even. And even in the damage profile, Outplayed is still having a good game. But he's just got to be able to go ahead and utilize this Kimmy in some of these fights. Now they give up the objective, so we have to look at, all right, how are they on the base defense with this lineup? Are they where they need to be, even though they're, what, 6,000 gold behind?
One of my favorite ways to play Mlbb, throw bodies. ONIIC Philippines can do that. Once they get to the base with the Lord, as long as their minion waves are good, as they just need one minion wave already threatening into the range of the base, then they can just throw bodies, hero lock, while having one or two heroes trying to just focus down the base. It could be a simple end here for ONIIC Philippines. Yes, they'll have to watch out the positioning of the Farsa and the Kimmy, because if they leave those unchecked, yes, it could be incredibly punishing. But again, you can throw either the Badang, the Joy, or the Hilda. Hell, throw all of them just to force the Farsa to get bursted down and the Kimmy to get bursted down, so ONIIC can end this. They can end it here.
We'll see if they're going to be able to do it. Lord is in the base now. They're going to hold it down with a fettered airstrike.
Brusco again, but didn't connect with the ultimate. Now the punish from Twisted Minds. They're going to bring down the Bruiser. A mega kill coming in from King Kong, though. Kelra locking on the base, and ONIIC takes game 1.
Throw bodies.
Throw bodies. That's game 1. All Kelra had to do was like, you guys got it. I'll lock on the base, and it's done like that. Game 1, man. That was quick. That was clean. Quick. For ONIIC Philippines.
Back and forth at some moments.
Yeah.
Twisted